Coming up on this edition of the Cowboys Report, breaking down some potential trade candidates for Dallas. Now, I will make note, since we filmed our cut candidates video, there actually have been some minor contractual adjustments. I'll explain those when we get to them here. Not terribly inconveniencing, but I do want to acknowledge, if you paid attention, the differences in both there. But I meant trade candidates because the Cowboys might be able to save some money and maybe add a draft pick or two, both of which they generally like to do. Before we get to my list, name a player you want to trade away. This is candidates, not targets. We're dumping guys on today's show. Let me know in the comment section of today's video. There will be some natural overlap here between Terence Steele or between the cuts and trade candidates, beginning with Terence Steele. Now, he's got an $18.13 million cap hit. The pre-6-1 savings of a trade is $4.63 million. The post-June 1st is $14, but rarely see post-June 1st on that one. The cash owed in 2025 is $14 million. That is what a new team would owe him if they traded for Terence Steele. Now, the general disappointment, anger, concern, whatever, is valid on Terence Steele. Too many sacks allowed, better as a run blocker. I thought was better in the back half of the year. He also got the ball out quicker, so how much of that was just the schematic designs with not wanting to push the ball downfield, equaling quicker throws? All of those are valid questions. I do think Steele is a low-end starting offensive tackle right now. Maybe a different O-line coach would benefit him significantly. You have a big question mark at right tackle if you were to move on from him. And the post-June 1st savings might be worth more than whatever day 3 pick you get if you chose to move on from Steele in the first place. The big name here is Damone Clark. Now, I want to acknowledge something here in a second because that cap hit number is different. $3.39 million. You save $3.33 by cutting Clark. That's his cash owed. Trade or cut. The number is the same, by the way. Now, Clark, and shots over the cap for adjusting these, he is in line for a proven performance escalator in his contract. These are day 3 picks that, hey, you played snaps. You get more money. Congratulations. That's very common. A lot of teams deal with this. That is roughly tripled his cap hit, which was a little over $1 million, to a little over $3 million now. So that's a sizable amount of difference in the money involved here for Damone Clark. It's also why you've seen some of the salary cap stuff dip in recent weeks. There's Deron Bland's getting more money too. Still differences in the overall projected numbers between over the cap, spoke track, blah, blah, blah. But Clark is going to get a little bit more. I don't want to pay Damone Clark $3.9 million. Now, that estimated number, by the way, not set in stone, but it is estimated. Overshown, in theory, gets healthy. Maurice Leafau can be a starter. Damone Clark fell out of favor with the Cowboys organization. Mike Zimmer was not playing him. Nobody was paying him at that point. Or no one wanted to play him on the team. So I don't think you'll see Clark on the team come week 1 of 2025. Maybe it's a August trade and not a March trade. Now, will the Cowboys make a trade? Let's say before the NFL draft, not just counting draft pick trades. 1 for yes, 0 for no. Let me know in the comment section of today's show. Pin comment, by the way. Next up is Sam Williams. $1.98 million cap hit. You save $1.48. The new team owes him $1.55. He's in a bit of a tricky spot. He's coming off the bad knee injury. In theory, he's going to be good to go before week 1 and maybe around training camp. You saw flashes in year 1. The sack numbers went up, but the tackles for loss went down. The overall pressure rates dropped as well. It just led to big question marks about what Williams is going to be. And you have question marks right now in your edge rushing room. Tank Lawrence, Chauncey Golston, Carl Lawson are all free agents. Micah will be back as edge 1. You're hoping Nealon can take over the tank role, but that leaves real question marks everywhere else on your roster, at least at the defensive end position. So, I think you keep him for now. He's pretty cheap, but also much like Damone Clark, maybe a name to monitor in August or so. Let's get to some more guys we mentioned in our cut candidates video. That's safeties, Donovan Wilson, first up here. $8.65 million cap hit. Again, you'd save $5.35 with a trade. A new team would also owe Donovan Wilson $7 million. And Wilson, in many ways, is like his play is an indicator of did the Cowboys play well on defense. When Wilson plays well, the Cowboys normally find a way to win. They normally have success and good things end up happening, which I think is always very important and impactful to consider and have successful results. But when Wilson doesn't play well, bad things tend to happen. Let's move to the other safety, that is Malik Hooker. Now, he's owed a little bit less money, and $5.75 million from Hooker. Wilson's made more splashy impact plays, has probably allowed more splashy impact plays as well, which is a red flag. I think Hooker's a fine safety. Wilson is the high variance player. Hooker's been a little bit more reliable. And that's fine. It's valuable even, but is it worth what the current market says? The safety room in general is one that's going to have to be figured out for Dallas this offseason. I think Hooker and Wilson are probably more likely cut candidates, but hey, maybe a team comes calling. And the Dan Quinn will need a safety, but who knows? Maybe Mike McCarthy wants one of these guys if he gets a job somewhere. I don't know. It's all speculation. But I did want to mention them as potential trade candidates. Now, today's show is made possible by Game Time. Game Time has a new feature. It's called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to only show you incredible deals on great seats. You don't have to waste time searching through thousands of different tickets to find the best value. It is curation to get you the best price on great seats and make it easier to find it too. The super deal, by the way, always keep an eye out for that one, is the best value for any given event. Use the all-in pricing feature. It shows your total cost up front, so there are no surprise fees at checkouts. Download the Game Time app today. Create your account and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Now, look, terms apply, but go over to GameTime.co, use code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS, for $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guarantee. Terms apply, but check the comments section and the description of today's show for the link and the promo code. Big name I want to get to here. We got some bigger names coming up here, frankly. Trevon Diggs. And he's got a $13.9 million cap hit. Not actually that bad. I do want to make note here off the top. The max cap hit is actually $14.25 million because he's got per-game roster bonuses that, because he missed time this year, are not likely to be earned. Therefore, they do not count on the salary cap unless they are actually earned. So that is worth mentioning, by the way, on the Diggs side of things. You save $9.65 post-June 1st, but just $1 million pre-June 1st in a trade. The cash owed is $10 million. I don't think the Cowboys will trade Trevon Diggs for a variety of reasons, the biggest of which is who wants him right now. It is very tough to see an NFL team trading for Diggs, who just underwent the knee surgery, going to keep him out until at least training camp, somewhere in that ballpark if maybe the Cowboys are lucky. It just feels very, very unlikely. Hopefully he gets healthy and he can play. Now, for more Cowboys videos, hit that sub button, youtube.com/Cowboys TV. Free Cowboys videos each and every single day, oftentimes multiple times per day, pretty much always actually, on the Cowboys Report. And then the big name is Micah Parsons. And don't yell at me yet, or maybe do yell at me, whatever. $21.34 million cap hit this upcoming year. He is one of 4 players since the NFL began tracking sacks as a stat, which is kind of crazy thing to say out loud given the way we evaluate these days. One of 4 players to record double-digit sacks in each of his first 4 seasons. Everyone else is a Hall of Famer. Reggie White, Derek Thomas, Dwight Freeney. Micah Parsons is on pace to have a Hall of Fame NFL career. 12 sacks in 13 games, 14, 13 and a half, 13. If he played all 17 games and the Cowboys weren't a non-playoff contender, he might have won Defensive Player of the Year. At some point, I think he's going to get one. Now, look, you would get a haul for Micah Parsons. You could get multiple first-round picks, cheap talent. You have to spend one of those at minimum on a Micah Parsons replacement that isn't going to be as good. Even Jimmy Johnson agrees with me, by the way. I would simply pay one of the best players in the NFL the big money that he's earned. But I would do it before free agency begins. That is what I would do. I would not drag my feet on paying Micah Parsons. I would not. I would get it done, or whatever I'm going to do before free agency, so I have more cap spending flexibility. But I believe in democracy here at the Cowboys Report, so you can vote either way you want to. What would you do with Micah Parsons? T for trade, P for pay. Sound off in the comments section of today's show. Let's talk Jake Ferguson, the tight end, who was a pretty colossal disappointment this year. And I think this only makes sense if you actually spend a premium asset, probably in the draft, on a potential trade. But after 2023, again, you save 3.33, so there's not expensive, not big savings, but makes it doable, frankly. After 2023, I thought this was going to be a breakout year coming. 71 catches, 761 yards. I think he very much missed Dak Prescott, by the way, as the quarterback, but his numbers plummeted. He wasn't nearly as impactful. Added, I think, some weight to be a better blocker. Didn't work out very well. Now he's in a contract year, and now you have big question marks. Luke Schoonmaker showed some better things this year. He's still not someone I trust to be tight end one. If you get weird with it and draft Tyler Warren in round one, Ferguson becomes a draft day, trade option for you. Then there is Jalen Tolbert. Similar money here. 3.33 cash owed, $3.55 million cap hit. You save the 3.33. It's not that bad. Tolbert kind of salvaged his career a little bit. He was bad as a rookie. A borderline non-factor in 2023. And then had 7 touchdowns this year for the Cowboys. 610 yards. I don't think he's a number 2, though. I think he's a number 3. And if you have a good number 2, I feel fine about Tolbert being your number 3. But if I'm putting Jake Ferguson on here, kind of feel like I have to include Jalen Tolbert as well. They're not going to trade Jonathan Mingo. It'd be kind of shocking. No one wants Brooks or Flournoy or Cropper. So I wanted to acknowledge Tolbert potentially there. And before we go, so people are going to respond, Dak, if someone that they want to trade for, because that's how the internet works, you need a $103.22 million dead cap hit if you trade away Dak Prescott this offseason. So that's just not going to happen.